We are back in the O'Reilly booth here at the last
Almost forgot the
2011, and I am joined now by Mark Imbriaco of Heroku, the Director of Cloud Operations there, and he's here to chat with us a little bit about app hosting and how to handle failure. Mike, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Did I get your name okay?
You did.
Oh, all right. I thought I was going to screw that up when we went live. So how many apps does Heroku host?
I think we're around 150,000 right now.
Okay.
There's a counter on our homepage that lists it. It's around 150.
And you host all those without a server, is that correct?
That's right. Our entire platform runs on Amazon EC2 right now.
Okay. So how did you envision that? How did you decide on that?
Yeah, I think it was mostly just pragmatic, right? At the time that the company was started, it's your typical startup. You can't afford to buy hundreds of servers.
Sure.
You kind of go with what you can get. And so the founders originally built the system on EC2, and it's worked extremely well for us.
How did you make that decision that it was still working well enough? You got to that certain point where it's like, well, we might as well not screw with this.
Yeah, it's if you go with physical hardware, there's definitely some advantages, right? You can go to faster systems, you can get faster disks, but you lose a ridiculous amount of flexibility. So we make a ton of use of the flexibility we get out of EC2. So we frequently will just spin up hundreds of new nodes and replace existing nodes, and make radical changes in the shape of our environment. And we just couldn't do that with physical hardware.
Right. So what's the best mindset for handling failure? Should everything be deemed disposable?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the model we try to work with. We try to have our systems designed such that any instance, any node in our system can go away at any time without causing any problems. We're not 100% there, but as much as possible, we like that to be the model. You get a lot of advantages from that. So if a system dies at 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe someone gets paged, maybe they don't. But typically it should be a non-event. You might not even replace it until the morning.
It's a lot better than getting called on.
Absolutely.
Night, right? So what's the best way to communicate to customers after a failure?
We've struggled with that. We tend to overshare. And I think sharing more is the right model, but the part that we struggle with is how technical to be. So our customers, it really depends on the company. Our customers are developers, so we tend to share a lot more technical detail than some other companies might.
Right.
But we've experimented. When I've written postmortems in kind of both ways, where it's kind of dry technical detail. The most recent problems we've had, we wrote kind of more in prose as a story or a timeline.
Right.
And we're still trying to figure out which one works best, but I think the newer, more human style is probably what we'll stick with.
The prose type, the story type. Interesting. And when something goes wrong, what types of channels do you use? Is it a blog post, an email, tweet, that type of thing?
Yeah, we during the event, we have a status blog that's hosted outside of our environment.
Yeah.
And the status blog, whenever a post is made to the status blog, automatically gets tweeted.
Okay.
So we use Twitter and the status blog as the primary means.
I see. Okay.
Afterwards, we tend to post the postmortems also back to the status blog. In some cases, we may email customers. In other cases, we may not. It kind of depends on the severity of the outage and what there is to communicate.
Sure. So last question for you. Is there such a thing as too much dogfooding within an organization?
So this was a question of considerable debate during my talk yesterday. I shared in my talk that we are trying to move some of the core pieces that run the Heroku platform so that they run on the platform. So we've got this platform that makes it extremely easy to deploy software, and our developers want to use it to build the platform. Right. So they want to have the same flexibility our customers have. From the ops standpoint, that's just terrifying, because suddenly we have the platform that needs the platform to be up in order to run the platform, and we've got this crazy circular dependency.
Right.
But we think we can make it work. So the ops team, we were extremely resistant at first, but we sat down with our engineering teams and kind of talked through the issues, and we think we have some ideas for bootstrapping things so that it works, and we kind of get to take advantage of all the wonderful things our platform gives us.
Great.
While getting the stability we need.
Well, thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate
My pleasure.
it.